Peace, everyone. How you doing? Welcome to Israel Doctrines Google Hangout. I'm your host, Carl Albert, and you have now entered into our Hangout. And this one is entitled The Spiritual Bystander Effect. Faith without works is dead, right? So, you say you got faith, you're standing by, you're watching things go on, and you're saying, well, somebody else going to take care of it, or this, that, and the other. What's going on with this camera? As I like to say, this, that, and the other. That's the title of a show that I'm looking to do. I'm also starting Monday, I'm gonna open up the 3 huddles again. For y'all that don't know, the huddle is a blog talk radio show that I done did for years. I'm gonna reopen it, and I'm gonna use the 30 minutes to only do 3 30-minute segments a day. If I do anything else, then that's what I do. But 3 30-minute schedules a day. I mean, I'm gonna schedule 3 shows a day and allow people to call in and talk and have dialogue with me live here on the Google Hangout. Yet going through blog talk radio and through the stations I done set up over there already. But besides that, let's get back to what we're talking about here, right? Spiritual bystander effect. If you don't know what the bystander effect is, it's when it's so many people, bystanders, that's around an accident or a situation, and instead of them helping and going out their way to do something, they wait for someone else to do it, right? They say, well, ain't nobody else addressing this, so I'm gonna keep going. Somebody else will get it. You know, it's kind of like having a spill in the kitchen, 6 or 7 people in the house, and everybody walk by it thinking the next person to get it. It's no problem, right? Well, that in itself is a problem. So I'm gonna let Alex read for us this morning. I'm gonna just go to Wikipedia and pull up bystander effect and let y'all hear what the people out there has to say about it. Then I'm gonna take it and put it in the biblical perspective that it needs to be put in. I've heard about this a couple of times, and therefore I want to expound on it most definitely from a biblical perspective. So we're gonna put Alex on the job this morning. Hopefully he's woke.
The bystander effect, or bystander apathy, is a social psychological phenomenon that refers to cases in which individuals do not offer any means of help to a victim when other people are present. The probability of help is inversely related to the number of bystanders. In other words, the greater the number of bystanders, the less likely it is that any one of them will help. Several variables help to explain why the bystander effect occurs. These variables include ambiguity, cohesiveness, and diffusion of responsibility.
So the fusion of responsibility is what I'm dealing with mostly from the biblical perspective. But you see that it's a social phenomenon. That when you have more people, individuals standing by, and you figure that's more help, anybody that's a victim of any type of oppression, crime, injury, or whatever, tends to not get any help. So That in itself is what it is, right? So what we want to do, we're going to go to a couple Bible texts, right? We're going to deal with this situation. From a biblical perspective, right? I need KJV people. I don't deal with the NIV. Going to BibleGateway.com. They got me in the NIV section. I need the KJV section. I had to reset my Google this morning, so they put everything at a default. So we gotta make a new default. So where do we want to go? Let's go to the book of James, right? James 3. It's not going super direct into it. That's a premise for all other discourse on it, right? I don't think we need 3. Okay. We'll pick it up at James 2. We'll start at 14. What do it profit, my brother, though a man say he has faith and have not works? Can faith save him? If a brother or sister be naked and destitute of food, and one of you say unto them, depart in peace, be ye warm and filled, notwithstanding ye give them not those things which are needful to the body, what do it profit? So this is going to be pretty much the anchor of the conversation. It said brother or sister being naked and destitute of daily food, right? And you don't give them things that's needful for the body, clothing and daily food. It said, verse 17 now, even so, faith, if it have not works, is dead, being alone, right? So it's comparing you not being faithful in the course of taking care of brother or sister who's naked or destitute of food, seeing that you supposed to keep the law, statutes, and commandments and show love unto your neighbor, right? And do unto others as you would have them do unto you, so on and so forth. Do you believe this is in the law, statutes, and commandments and what they call Torah? We'll see later. But anyway, 19. It said, 18. Yea, a man may say, thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thou faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith by my works. Thou believest there is one God, thou does it well. The devil also believes and trembles, right? One sec. So, 20. But wilt thou know, O vain man, faith without works is dead, right? Faith without works is dead. Now, let's go to 1 John. we're going to go to chapter 3. 1 John chapter 3. Just got to lay down a foundation right quick. Verse 17. But whosoever has this world's good and see his brother have need and shut up his bowel of compassion from him, how dwell the love of God in him? My little children, let us not love in words, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth. And hereby we know that we are the truth and shall show our hearts before him. For if our hearts condemn us not, God is greater than our hearts and knoweth all things. But love, if our heart condemn us not, then we have confidence towards God. And whatsoever we ask, we receive of him, because we keep his commandments and do those things which are pleasant in his sight. Right? So most people believe that sin is defined only as the transgression of the law. So faith without works is dead. And if someone is naked, hungry, destitute of daily food, or just food, right, and you don't help them, having his worldly goods, seeing a brother or sister having need, and you shut up your bowels of compassion, how dwell the love of God in you? That ain't a love for your neighbor, right? So therefore, you're not keeping the second commandment, which breaks down to a lot of different aspects with dealing with your brother or your sister, right? The greatest two commandments is to love God with all thy heart and all thy neighbor as thyself, right? So if you see somebody, a victim, or somebody being oppressed, or somebody lacking something, this and that, and you don't come through and help them because you figure, well, they can go to the church for that. Well, they can go to get an EBT, or they can go to the government, or they could do this and do that, right? Then you're not righteous in God's eyes, right? Let me show you how, right? So since we're in 1 John 3, we're going to go back up now to 4. It said, whosoever commits sin transgress also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. Now the law deal with a lot of this, and the law was given to Israel to be exact, to give to the rest of the world to be even more accurate. But Israel didn't adhere to the law, nor have they taught the rest of the world. Now, the scribes of the book has laid down the law and everything, but the true teachers of the law, the ones that's supposed to understand it and been perpetuating and showing it forth, have not been doing that. So therefore, most people, hate the book because those that's supposed to represent it haven't been representing it right. So therefore, they don't go in it and read the scribes, scribings. Therefore, they don't know what's in the book, right? So here we go. Once again, whosoever commits sin transgress all the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. That's one definition. Let me give you the other two, right? We're going to go to John 5 and 17. I have to do this because now we got to put the chain on the anchor. Then eventually we'll get to the boat and make sure it don't fly off or float off. 1 John, that is, 5 and 17. All unrighteousness is sin, and there's a sin unto death. So if you see someone destitute of food, naked, and different things, and you walk by them like you don't see them and expect the next person to drop that quarter or buy that McDonald's, or whatever, then you already know in your heart's a heart. If your heart condemn you or your heart condemn you not, ain't that's what we just read? See, we're going to go back to that right quick. It said, verse 19, 1 John 3 and 19, hereby we know that we are the truth and shall assure our hearts before God. For if our hearts condemn us not, God is greater than our hearts and know all things. Beloved, if our hearts condemn us not, look, for if our hearts condemn us, that's 20. God is greater than our hearts, meaning we already knew in our hearts what was right and what was good, and we didn't do it. Now we convicted or condemned in our heart, right? And God is greater than our heart and knoweth all things. Beloved, if our heart condemn us not, though, then have we confidence towards God. And we ask things towards God, and we do it in faith because we keep his commandments, not running around with a blindfold, staring at the world with a blindfold, right? Saying, I didn't see that. I don't know what's going on. So that's what all unrighteousness is, people. It's sin, right? So now we got to go to James 4. It's funny how these chapters speak in depth on these type of things, right? James 4:17. It says, therefore, to him that know to do good and do it not, to him it is a sin. So this is how you got to look up on these things, people. You see somebody naked, destitute of food, a widow, a fatherless child, you know, this, that, and the other. It's certain things that the laws of God for those who say they believe in the Bible and follow the Bible, the principles in the Bibles, it's laws of God that deals with this stuff, right? So we just gonna deal with a couple, right? We just gonna deal with some things now. So what I want to do is show you why you in a position to have and others are not in a position to have. So you got the haves and the have-nots. You have those that's in a position to help, don't help. Then you got those in a position that need help, right? But for those that in a position to help, it says in Deuteronomy 8:18, but remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the ability to produce wealth. And so confirm his covenant. We're going to read some of the covenant, which he swore to your ancestors as it is today, right? 7:30. So let's go to Deuteronomy 15. We're going to pick it up at 7. If anyone is poor amongst your fellow Israelites in any other towns or the land the Lord your God is giving you, do not be hard-hearted. If our heart condemn us, God is okay. Be not hard-hearted or tight-fisted towards them. Rather be open-handed and freely lend them whatever they need. Be careful not to harbor this wicked thought. The 7th year, the year for canceling debt, is near, so that you do not show ill will towards the needy amongst your fellow Israelites and give them not. So let's be more precise for those that may not know. The 7th year, the year of canceling debt, is the year of Jubilee. So think, it's the 7th year or the 6th year. Somebody needs. We're not supposed to loan and have usury amongst each other, right? And after 7 years, you cancel debt. This right here in our autonomy, right? And our autonomy, which we have it, and it still gave me this KJV stuff. I mean, this NIV stuff. That's why I'm looking at it like, what the? All right, now we with the KJV. That's what I'm talking about. Or it be looking foreign sometime. But anyway, that 6 or 7 year, you don't want to loan because you know you just got a year or some months before you have to cancel debt. So if it's the 7th year and it's mid-year and I need from you and it's going to be canceled in some months, what's the fate that now? You got a loan without, worrying about that, because a good-hearted brother or sister will still take care of you if their finances get right, right? So you shouldn't be hard-hearted thinking that, nah, I ain't gonna do it because he's trying to slick me and get out of it and stuff, right? This is some stuff that, if we go deal as a people, we gotta understand, right? So it said, 9, beware that there be not a thought in thou wicked heart, saying, the 7th year, the year of release, is at hand, and thou eyes be evil against thou poor brother, and thou givest him naught, right? And he cry unto the Lord against thee, and it be a sin unto you. Why? Because to know to do good and not is a sin, and to be unrighteous in judgment and what you doing is a sin. But yet and still, it's written in the Torah. So that's 3 witnesses against you. And if your heart condemn you, then the Lord is greater than your heart, right? So for people that watches things go on and stand by and don't give help and stuff, know that that will get you put even in the lake of fire, because it's a sin. Because you know to do good and you know to be righteous, right? So let's read on. 10, thou should surely give him, and thy heart should not be grieved when thou givest unto him, because that for this thing the Lord thou God shall bless thee in all thy work. See, you just do what the Lord said and look for him to bless. Don't even look for the individuals that you gave to bless you, because they are poor. They might never move out of that status. Why? Because the poor is always with us. They might be incapable of getting a job for many reasons, but whatever it is, if they can't get a job, then they cannot advance in earning dollars, right? That's why the Deuteronomy was 8 to start. Deuteronomy 8 and 18 was significant to start off with in the first place, right? For it is, okay, it say, thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to gain wealth. Without him, you will be the poor one looking for something from somebody. That's why you hear that old saying, it's better to be the one that have than be the one that have not. God bless the child that got his own, because you have the lend and you don't have to beg someone to lend, right? And God bless you enough to do that. Yeah, you can say, I got up and went to work myself. He give you a code, you miss 2 weeks of work, 2 weeks of pay, little insurance take care of this or that, or sick leave take care of a little bit of it. They only pay you a little bit of your salary at that time. Your bills go bad, you get behind. Now you got to work overtime when you come back from your sickness. This and that can mess up your whole workflow, right? So we're just gonna keep it moving. Let me show y'all a little bit for, standing on the sideline watching when you should be doing something. How unrighteous it is, judgment, all of this stuff, people. We could go so many different ways with bystander effect, and others sit by and let persecution and all kind of stuff happen, and then they said, well, then nobody else do nothing or whatever, right? So verse 11, for the poor shall never cease out of the land. There you go. Therefore I command thee, saying, thou shalt open thy hand widely unto thy brother, to thy poor, and to thy needy in thy land, right? people tell us now we ain't in the land, so they ain't got to do that. It's kind of like the feast days. Well, we ain't in the land, so we can't keep it. It said do that in our land. We ain't in the land, so I ain't got to keep it. But Ephesians 4:28, let him that stole steal no more. Right? Most people that's poor, destitute for food, the only kind of stealing you can actually, if you go to the law, you can steal. If you hungry and the law and the Lord look at it, or those that deal with the law should look at it in another way. That's like the only stealing, right? But it said, let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, right? That means you got good health and the Lord allowing you to labor. If he allow you to labor, you labor and don't steal, right? Working with his hands, the things which is good, that he may have to give to him that needed. So he done took you from a thief where you don't have to steal food out the grocery store no more and stuff. He gave you a job and you got your health to work it, right? Work that what? Which is good in the sight of the Lord. Doing those things which is good. Selling drugs is not a blessing from the Lord to help you get your money. So the devil blessed the child with his own too. But anyway, that he might have to give to those that need, right? So Acts 20:35, we're going to go there. And I have shown you all things, how that so laboring you ought to support the weak and to remember the words of the Lord. How he said, it is more blessed to give than receive. So in laboring, ye ought to support the weak. The strong must bear the weak, right? We're going to get into some more stuff, but I just want to stay down this road because this is the injustice that goes on in society so much. You know what I'm saying? Acts 2:44-47. And all that believed were together in all things and had all things in common, and sold their possessions and goods and parted them to all men as every man had need. Right? This is the social position that the Bible deal with also. It deal with the individual, but it also deal with the society. And the thing is to make sure that other have, those that need have. That's why this came about. That's why at the same time we read about the 7-year Jubilee, so on and so forth. And they continue daily with one accord in the temple and breaking bread from house to house and house to house did eat their own meat with gladness and singleness of heart. Praise God and have favor with all men. And having favor with all people. Right? And the Lord added to the church daily such as should have been saved. So all people, all men. Acts 5:4-5. While it remained, well, we ain't gonna deal with that. Nah, we ain't gonna deal with that. What we're gonna do is we just gonna go to Matthew 25 now. I made a statement. Most of y'all might believe that I was just playing around. So we're gonna go to Matthew 25. Man, this early morning thing be getting me sometime. Mind be blown. And as I tell people, when I'm reading, I be wanting to explain more than just read. Don't want to be the reader. So let's go to Matthew 25. Right? We'll pick it up at 31. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit up on the throne of his glory. Right? And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divides his sheep from the goat, right? And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on his left. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was a hunger, and you gave me meat, right? Fed the hungry. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. Gave drink to those that thirsty, right? I was a stranger, and you took me in. Gave me shelter from, the environment. Naked and clothed me. So we got meat and clothing. In verse 35, it start off with that hunger. 36, it start off with the clothing. And we started off with that, right? So we're going back. That was the James, right? The James 2. And then it said, Naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you visited me not. I was in prison and you came unto me. Hold up. I was sick and you visited me. I put not in there. I was in prison and you came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee and hunger and fed thee, or thirst and gave thee drink, right? Notice what it said too. It said the righteous. Then shall the righteous answer him. So remember, all unrighteousness is sin, right? So the righteous have not committed sin because they did these things. Going back to the 1 John 5:17, right? So that shows more that unrighteousness is not feeding and doing these things that we're going to see the unrighteous, the goats in a little bit, right? These are the righteous. So not to do these things is a sin. Man, how you learned that? And once again, we could go and find plenty of scriptures in the quote unquote Old Testament, Genesis to Malachi, that shows when people do things against this, that they sinning. They unrighteous. Right? So let's go back. 37. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee a hunger and fed thee, or thirst and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick or in prison and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, insomuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren, ye have done it unto me. Then shall he say unto them that's on the left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was in hunger, and ye gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and you took me not in. Naked, and ye clothed me not. Sick and in prison, and you visit me not. Then shall they answer. They also answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee a hunger and thirsty and a stranger and naked and sick or in prison and did not minister unto thee? That's what a minister do, people. Minister unto the people. So when you say, that's my pastor, that's my minister, that's my teacher, and all of this falls up under the guidelines of ministry, you're supposed to minister unto the people. That's why I tell people all the time when they talk religion, religion is a divine instruction that brings about divine deeds, which brings about what y'all call religion. And religion teach this: to minister unto the needy. So all us needy blacks need protection from the police, need this and need that, and want somebody to step in and feed us at times when we doing without, and doing this and making sure our water in Flint, Michigan ain't this and that. We need somebody to minister to us. religiously, getting that divine instruction and doing that divine deed to take care and minister unto their neighbors or love their neighbors. And if you don't want to drink poison water, I don't want to drink poison water. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to, people coming through and killing the crops and killing the animals off that you might be able to hunt or, grow, then same thing. You don't want nobody taking a diseased cow, right? And chopping it up and feeding it to you. Why would you take a diseased cow and chop it up and feed it to me? Why would you sell me horse meat when I'm looking for cow meat? You know what I'm saying? All these different things that go on in so many facets of our day-to-day life and different things. I mean, people, that's why I said at the same time, people be want to get deep with the scriptures and this and that. You don't even know the fundamental moral aptitude that you got to reach in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So let me finish this off. I really want to go and get out of this, but I have to drop little stuff like this for people sometimes because they don't think. They walk through the world and look at people and try to spit on people that's poor when you're supposed to be helping the people that's poor. You're supposed to minister unto the people that's poor throughout your day to day. Because if God bless you to have your health and get money, then don't look on the ones that don't feel like they blessed, but they truly blessed because God made you a blessing unto them. But you tighten up your fist, you do this, you do that, you want to spit on them. So now you that's been blessed by God can't be a blessing. You can't pass it forward as they talk about it in this world. But once again, sometimes it's just due to the fact that, bystander effect. You know what I'm saying? You can see somebody falling on the ground in the middle of a city, screaming, I need help. Nobody help. Let me see. Give me 1 sec. You can see them out there with their little change thing. Let me see. Do I got some change in my pocket? Yeah. You can see them out there with their little change. Somebody else would give them a quarter, $1, drop their little change out their pocket. They got a name for it. They gave it a clinical name, gave it a term and stuff. It denotes one position to a degree, right? But it's sin, it's unrighteousness. That's what we'll call it if we just go from a biblical perspective. You are not faithful to the covenant and the will of God. So, right, we're going to start back, 41. Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me not in. Naked, and ye clothed me not. Sick and in prison, and you visit me not. Then shall they also answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee a hunger, or thirsty, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did not minister unto thee? Then shall he answer them, saying, Verily, I say unto you, insomuch as ye did it not to one of the least of these, ye did it not unto me. And these shall go away in everlasting punishment, but the righteous into life eternal. So they the righteous, they must be the unrighteous, right? So 1 John 5:17 seems to be an accurate description of a sinner, right? One that does unrighteous. And all unrighteousness is a sin. And being unrighteous is knowing what is good and not doing it. That's why a lot of people get convicted when they read the Bible. You read biblical text to them. Put that damn book down, man. Stop reading that to me. Because to know and don't do is just like not knowing. But if you know and don't do, you're going to be held to a higher standard than not knowing and not doing. You didn't know, so you couldn't do. But you knew and could do and didn't do. Woo, woo. Shaking them dice, better hold them. If you can't stand pain, better hold them. Because ain't no telling what you might roll. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no telling what you might roll. Don't roll them dice. So now, we're going to take this to one of the main parables that deals with this, right? The Good Samaritan. We're going to go to the Good Samaritan, right? Y'all ready for it? So it says, Luke 10:25-37. And behold, a certain lawyer stood up and tempted him, saying, Master, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? Right? Now, we just talked about life eternal. Hold up. Let's go back. Right? To the Matthew 25. Oh, I love the scripts, boy. It said, and these shall go away into everlasting punishment. The goats, the ones that don't show love and don't feed the hungry, don't give something to drink to the thirst, don't take the stranger in. People naked, you don't clothe them. They sick, you don't visit them. They in prison, you don't visit them. You don't minister unto their needs. That's why the greatest amongst us must minister unto the needs of others. You want to be great? Go wash some feet. Right? Literally and figuratively. Go wash some feet. If you can wash your brother's feet, then maybe you got some ministry in you. Maybe you got some humility in you. You know what I'm saying? Like me, I be looking for readers. And all these great men in the nation of Israel won't just minister unto that need. But it's all good. It's all great. I mean, I still be getting by. I let Alex read. You know what I'm saying? I do something, you know. But it is what it is, people. I have fun with this because I know I can see through my biblical eyes. You know, my bifocals, my four eyes. I can see through my biblical eyes what's going on and perceive and discern the hearts of men. That's why most of them, that's why I be mad most time, because I know, you know what I'm saying? That's why I be mad and this and that, because I can see a Negro clearly. You know what I'm saying? Because my eyes have seen more than the average human eyes can see. And not that we ain't looking at death the same. I mean, seeing the same scene, like what I see, everybody else see, but I see it on another level through another lens. You know what I'm saying? So we really not seeing the same thing. In the physical, we viewing the same thing, but in the spiritual, my eyes then gave me that sight beyond sight, right? Same thing. We look at the scripture, same scripture, how we comprehend it and understand it from the literal text or the literal law to the spiritual portion of the text to the spiritual position of the law is different. You know. So let's get back. Luke 10:25-37 again. And behold, a certain lawyer stood up and tempted him, saying, Master, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? I went there and didn't read it, did I? Don't worry about it, people. I got you now. It said, then shall, and these shall go away into everlasting punishment. That's the lake of fire. But the righteous into life eternal. So you got to be righteous to get life eternal, right? Keep the commandments. which if you transgress the commandments, which start being known as law, you transgress them, you sinning. So no sinner shall inherit the kingdom. And then if you don't do good when you know what it is, you won't. What should I say, people? Okay. So 26, now he said unto him, what is written in the law? How readest thou?